You are listening to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Fitzgerald, also known as Lauren Fitz. I'm a medical doctor, a fitness instructor, an entrepreneur, a health and fitness coach, but most importantly, I am a lover of life. And here on the Fitz and Healthy podcast, I intend to give you a ton of great information and knowledge that will serve as potential power so that you can live a life by design and make it more fits and healthy. And don't forget to listen to the disclaimer at the end. I'm not your doctor, yo. All right, enjoy the episode. Much love. Ciao. Hello and welcome to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Fitz, and I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Cinthanie from Cinthanie.com. What's up, girl?
Hey, girl. Hey.
We can't have an episode without that, right?
We can't. It's just a thing. It's a thing that happened and we can't stop.
Can't stop. So today we are not going to talk about anything that has to do with nutrition or exercise or medicine. We are going to talk about a topic that is pretty fresh on the mind because of posts heard around the world.
Current events.
And it's about haters because you know what? There are lots of haters out there. But before we talk about haters and how to handle them, and all of the stuff that goes into having haters and the best way to deal with them in your life, we have to do iTunes review of the week.
This is our lifers, not our haters, but our lifers. So we have an iTunes review of the week from Nancy0013, and it says hashtag here's the deal. I love that she put a hashtag. She's definitely our tribe. So she says, Dr. Lauren is the real deal, full of quality information, and her passion truly is helping people. She says what she means and means what she says. While Lauren could easily have a huge ego and she is quite accomplished, she's a very loving, humble, and special friend.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. I think I know which Nancy that we're talking about.
You know who you are, Nancy.
Nancy, shout out to you. And truly, we appreciate every single person that has taken the time to leave a review. It takes 5 minutes out of your day, and your time is valuable, and it's not the easiest system to do to figure out how to leave a review on iTunes. So we appreciate all. I don't even know what we're at. Are we at 160 yet? All I know is that I search different podcasts all the time, and there's so many that have 0 reviews. And for the fact that we've only been doing this for 2 months and we're at such a high number, it's crazy.
Can we also mention the fact that we are only just now, I think, just barely 8 weeks in. Like this Saturday, we will be 8 weeks into the podcast, and we have over 50,000 downloads. Can we just take a minute?
Robert sent us that text message this week. Oh, it was on Tuesday, right? And we record podcast on Friday, so we're probably past 50,000 now. So
yeah, but that's still that's a huge deal. A huge deal.
Yeah, we're at 142 reviews and past 50,000. Oh man, that's crazy.
So just to start this, thank you, you guys. Seriously, thank you. Oh, it gives me chills.
Yeah. So, okay. So today's topic that we are talking about has to do with a post that I posted I actually did it on my personal page. And I wanted to hear people's thoughts, and I will let people know that I'm not one that is persuaded by people's opinion, because everything that I do and say there's thought behind it. And I'm not perfect. I mean, there are times that I let my emotions drive my thoughts or my words and actions, but I try to have control of them where it stops before it becomes an action or words that I will regret, because emotionally based anything typically will lead to things that you regret and you wish you could take back. And so I this whole scenario was nothing that I regretted, and I just wanted to hear what people's thoughts were. And so I got on my Dr. Lauren Fitz page a message saying essentially how much they need help losing weight, but they don't think they can afford me. I should have probably brought up the exact wording that it was because the wording is important. Okay.
Yeah, this is true.
She was a female. Um, she wrote to me. She said, "Love ya, but don't think I can afford ya. I need help in retoning. Let me know if you can help someone that has no money to invest in fitness right now. If not, I understand. Stay beautiful and thanks for thinking of me. After all, I have been following you for a while." So I normally do. I normally respond to audio text.
Yeah.
It's more personable and I love hearing the response when people hear my voice because they assume that I'm not the one that's answering them and they realize that it actually is me on the side of it.
Yeah.
And I when I anyone that knows me knows that I practice tough love, and so when I practice tough love, I do it in a very kind, loving way,
It's
knowing
love. It's tough, but it's love.
and I choose my words very carefully. And so, I essentially and I took a screenshot of this whole interaction and I posted it on my page. I cut her name out, I cut her face out so you can't see who it is
Mm.
because I'm not, someone said I was trying to bully. I'm not trying to
It's
bully.
completely anonymous. Yeah.
Anonymous. I just I took a screenshot and I said your 2 cents, please. And then I go on and I said, so this message I received on Monday, I sent her a voice message back saying that if you can afford $5.50 a meal, your nails to be done, regular stops at fast food restaurants, the latest in iPhone or other things that I see from people that tell me they can't afford it, whatever, fill in the blank, then you can afford the investment that you have to make to get my help.
Yeah.
And so I continue to say, set it just like that. And her response you see below. And so I I couldn't respond to her because she responded back in a very negative way and then she basically blocked me so I couldn't even come back with the response.
Sure.
Um, but essentially she was like nails, iPhone, none of the above do I have or have. Good luck. That was not very nice opening message, ma'am. Not very nice from a professional. Goodbye and good luck. And then unfriended me and blocked me. Not unfriended me. We weren't friends, but blocked me. So I couldn't even
Mhm.
have a chance to come back and be like, look, this was not meant to offend, but that screenshot got man, I mean, I can see 110 comments and it was all over the board. And it's funny because the people that follow me know that I do practice tough love.
Yeah.
And there were all sorts of quotes, not quotes, but interactions and commentary. And I respect all of the people, especially that do it in a kind, non-emotional way.
Mhm.
But that being said, that that led to this topic of haters because anytime that in life you are doing something good and you are progressing and going in a direction that most people aren't, you will have haters, you will have people that want to use you, and you will have people that want to hold you back.
Yeah.
And so that is gonna be our topic today is haters. And, I'm not gonna be talking the entire time about all different examples of haters that I've had in my life, but I've been dealing with, haters since pretty much junior high. That's
Yeah.
my first early memory, and of course, that's right when, you know, people go through puberty and the females that go through puberty faster than others are the ones that get attention first and it's natural cycle of life. But
Yeah.
I remember 6th grade because I was one of the females that developed a little bit earlier than other of my friends. And so of course I got attention from the boys a little bit earlier. And that's when, you know, female haters would come out and that was when the message from my mom started being nailed into my head that essentially the golden rule, you treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Kill them with kindness. And
Yeah.
that's really hard to do. It doesn't matter if you're in 6th grade or you're 36, actually I'm 37, but it's really hard to kill them with kindness. And um, situations like this, I think that you have a couple options. You can look at that and get offended and waste time and energy and thought on, you know, "Ugh, well, essentially that this chick doesn't like me," and was offended and waste time and energy on it. Or you can look at, okay, what went wrong? Could I have done anything differently? And how would I have changed my reaction to a scenario like this in the future? Because I know it's not going to be the first. Now,
Mhm.
let's just talk about valuing yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is, "How can you expect someone to value you if you don't value yourself?" Can I get an amen?
Amen.
That I see it's so common, especially in the business that we do of health and fitness coaching, is that people are constantly giving their time away for free, and people people will use and abuse that.
Yeah.
And my time is valuable. It has nothing to do with me being a doctor or being whatever. It's like my time is valuable, just like
Mm.
I think that other people's time is valuable. That's why I try to never be late, because my mom has drilled into my head, your time is not more important than theirs, and you being late tells them that your time is more important.
Mhm.
And am I perfect all the time? No. I was actually 2 minutes late for our meeting this today, but I had to get my workout in. No, but, that being said, I did I did I respond perfectly to this female's, initial reach out for help? I I don't know. Would I do it over again? Probably. Maybe I might have said it in a different way. Maybe
Mm.
I could have said it more loving. I haven't actually re-listened to it, but, how would you have responded to that? I mean, you're significantly younger than me, and you and don't have I mean, we have a lot of the same personality traits,
Yeah.
but I definitely think age, as we get older, we get less of like, I don't really care what other people think, you know?
Mm.
You're
Mhm.
still at the age where as much as you try, what other people think is a little bit more influential in your life than it is mine.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I have had that messages like that before where like I just have a hard time when people are expecting things for free because they know you or I went to elementary school with you. Will you help me for free? Like to me, I just think that that is disrespectful to someone who is an entrepreneur, a business owner, whatever, is being a friend and expecting free services because you know them, I think is a disrespect to their work. If you want to support them, like if anybody should be paying for your services, it's your friends because they want to support you. Like for example, we both use the same photographer. Shout out to Lori. And I've always made sure that I've never asked her for a discount or anything like that because a true friend won't. They respect your services, they respect that you're a professional, and they will pay you for your time. Just like I wouldn't ask you to give me free pictures. I wouldn't she wouldn't ask me to help her with the fitness goals for free. I mean, like give her free advice here and there and stuff like that. But asking somebody to give their work to you for free because you know them, I just don't think that that's right. And I've been guilty of that. I've totally been guilty of that because I didn't realize to the extent until I was doing my own thing and I was my own business owner. And you get a lot of friends, real friends, and I say that in quotes, real quick when you start to have services or you start to have a specific line of work that you do.
No.
But for me, if I had gotten that was a long explanation, but for me, if I had gotten that message, I would have just told her that honestly, it's not a priority to you because we will always invest in the things that are important to us. And if you're wanting my help for free, you're not going to work as hard as you would if you paid for it because you don't see the value in it. If you don't see the value in paying for it, you don't see the value in doing it regardless. So, I mean, you can try to go get it for free, but you'll never work as hard as you would if you're paying for it.
Very true.
So I think it shows whether it's a priority or not.
Looking back, I think that I might have, because it does get tiring when you have so many people that come to you with the expectations, like the fact that I mean I get this all the time. I've been following you for years. Well, guess what? following me for years doesn't do any good for me. Like, I don't make money for
Right.
following me on YouTube for 5 years and watching all my videos, because I don't make money on my videos, and
Yeah.
I don't benefit at all whether you followed me for 5 minutes or 5 years.
Mhm.
But there's that element in her message that, definitely wants to play on the fact that, "Oh, but I'm a fan, and I would love any help that you
Yeah.
give for free," and it definitely, I if I'm honest with myself, it provoked an emotional response, and I think it probably had to do with, bad timing and whatnot, but I was very methodical in the way that I responded back, and I felt like I was responding back in a loving way of,
Mm.
I would love to help you, but, my time is valuable,
Yeah.
and the fact is that I see people all of the time that tell me that they can't afford it, yet they can afford getting their nails done. They can afford
Mhm.
a nice car. They can afford, whatever. And
Mhm.
now I think about all of the people that my friends that I've made via Facebook that I've never met in person, but I do know on a closer level that are strapped for cash. And those were
Yeah.
the ones that, I that came back with, we know you and we essentially know your heart, but that would have struck a chord in my heart. And I don't want to, especially with people I care. I mean, this person I did not know, for that was the first time she's ever messaged me. Her name
Yeah.
is familiar. Um and maybe if it were someone that I would have known, I might have even
Yeah.
more kind, and but I still would have given the same message of, at the end of the day, it's exactly what you said. It's not priority. And
Mhm.
when you give away stuff for free, people don't value it. And
Yeah.
so, and it doesn't have to always be something physical. I mean,
Mhm.
time is one of the most precious commodities that we
Yeah.
have. And for, if every single person that followed me, that expected free service from me, there would be not enough time in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And I think that um, setting boundaries is another important lesson from this whole debacle that went down of, that my time is valuable. It's no more valuable than yours is, but it is
Sure.
valuable. And I don't have uh, free time to be giving away, to anyone and everyone that doesn't have the money to afford it.
Mhm.
And the fact is, I've seen plenty of people that are very strapped for cash that they've saved up and said, I can't afford
Yes.
it now, but it is priority because I know that your tough love is what I need.
Mhm.
And come payday, I need a couple paydays to save enough money, but then I'm coming around. And that's
They're the ones that work the hardest too. In my experience, the ones that are having the biggest struggle to be able to do it work the hardest because they saw the value in it enough to know that that's what they wanted. And if it took a little bit of time to save up for it or be able to make it a priority, that they were willing to do that instead of just saying, I am so guilty of this. I can point it out because I can't tell you how many times I've just been like, well, I don't have the money. It's because you don't make it a priority. If it's not a priority to you, then you won't make it happen through your finances.
yeah. And I don't know what everyone's personal financial status is.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of, the person that literally goes month to month to month and literally
Mhm.
spends every single penny month to month. And I challenge, if you are that person that's listening, I challenge you to try to learn how to get out of that scarcity mindset and start making changes, because if you keep doing what you are doing, you're going to stay in that rut your entire life.
Mhm.
And we were not meant to. That's not living life.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to think of devil's advocate. Who is the person listening on the other side seeing me as, someone who was raised with privilege, and I don't even know. There are a lot of scenarios, you're right. I've never had to worry about food on the table or a
Yeah.
roof over my head. And
Yeah.
and I I can't judge a person that's been in that scenario, and I don't know what it's like, but I do know that if there's any country in the world that has opportunity after opportunity to get out of that place in life, it's the United States.
Mhm.
of course, we have listeners from all over the world, but
Mhm.
I mean, this is known as the land of opportunity,
Yeah.
and you know, I I want to be able to help everyone, but bottom line is that, you know, someone that comes to you that needs your help will make it happen no matter what. Um,
I think that that's an important point to make, though, is when you are dealing with conflict or somebody that doesn't agree with your views or anything like that, instead of coming to defense immediately, which is what we all want to do, I think that it's important to think, okay, remove yourself from the situation and view it for what it is. What is this person's experience that's making them feel this way? What's your experience that's making you feel this way? What's the best possible outcome that you can do everything that you can to make sure that it's resolved? Because if you just fight fire with fire, if anybody knows this, it's me because I'm a spitfire. But if you fight fire with fire, you'll both get burned. And I know that's a cliche saying, but truthfully, you have to be able to, before you fire back or before you come to your own defense, you have to remove yourself from the situation and view it for what it is, non-emotion based. You have to allow your emotions to cool before you start to deal with somebody, because you may say something that is equally as immature or nasty, and it doesn't help a resolve.
and you know, that makes me, I mean, that needs to be your approach to any time that you have,
Mm.
whether it be, and you know, looking back, like this person wasn't a hater.
Yeah.
It provoked some haters to come out
Yeah.
posting, you know, what people's 2 cents were.
Mm.
But she didn't start off as a hater. She started off honestly as a taker.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and there are givers and takers in the world, and definitely people that are givers. And I'm 100% a giver.
Mm.
I will I I love to give of myself to people that I care about, especially
Mm.
my loved ones and my family,
Mhm.
and that has led to me being taken advantage of many times in my life.
Yeah.
Do I regret it? No, because that's who I am, and that it gives me pleasure to help someone and give of myself. So
Yeah.
she definitely didn't start off as a hater. She might now be in the category of hater.
Mhm.
She blocked me, so she can't really come see me or hate on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the fact is that um, I think that if I would have taken, because you know, I realistically, there was probably some emotion in that, even though I
Mm.
said it in a very politically correct way, but
Sure.
there was some emotion in that. And I think that anytime that we use our words, we need to step back and take emotion out and let emotion calm down before, and especially as you progress in life. I mean, you know, I definitely, uh, where I am now versus where I am even a year from now, it's crazy, and I don't see it as anything different. I keep, you know, doing the grind and
Mhm.
like doing what I do, which is I'm a hard
Yeah.
worker. But I get people telling me all the time, you know, oh my gosh, I just can't believe everything that's, you know, you're killing it. And I'm like, I'm just doing whatever, right? And
You
but
do you, boo.
exactly, as things, you know, good things keep happening, and doors keep opening and
Yeah.
opportunities keep happening for me that weren't happening a year from now, 2 years from now. There are definitely more people that are coming out of the woodworks and not becoming haters, but are, you know, trying to hold me back. And
Mhm.
there's one song I did choreography to, Katy Perry's Swish Swish. Have you listened to those words?
Mhm.
Words are great 'cause it's like, "I ain't going anywhere, boo."
Mhm. Here to stay.
But it's true that when you're doing good things, people that are stuck in a rut, that are stuck
Yeah.
where, there's no hope, there's no happiness, they see someone and they want to bring them down, someone that is not in that place.
I think it also has a lot to do with the fact that people project their fears on you, because sometimes if you're brave enough to do something and you're going at it and they could never imagine doing that themselves, they project that fear on you and are like, but no, you probably shouldn't do that because this is what will happen. And especially from loved ones, because loved ones instinct is just to protect the people that you love, right? And so you never want to give them consent to something that you feel like is going to set them up for failure. If there's a risk involved, of course you want to tell them, maybe not, like, let's not do that. And so that's one thing about valuing yourself, is you have to know that if someone is projecting their fears on you, your experiences are not theirs, your fears are not theirs, what you're going for is not theirs, and it's never coming. I don't think that everybody is, especially family, isn't coming from a place of wanting to hold you back from doing great things, but they love you and they're scared of you failing and they don't want to add to that. So it's kind of a fine line between knowing your value and appreciating that people care about you enough to say something, but also not letting their fears become yours.
Right, right. Like I had one person who I totally respect, and she didn't leave a comment, but she private messaged me, and she was like, I think that you should delete that, and here's the reasons. And I totally, like, I know her, I respect her
Hmm.
opinion, her words, her thoughts, and
Yeah.
but the fact is that she hasn't walked in my shoes, and
Hmm.
but I I'm always trying to analyze both sides, because I
Yeah.
definitely took her words to heart, but at the end of the day, I didn't delete it. Even my mom told me that I should delete it just because she said it was causing too much drama. But, the fact is that, I posted this because I wanted to get people's 2 cents. I wanted
Hmm.
their thoughts, their reactions, not their I didn't do it for reaction. I really
Yeah.
wanted to get, thoughts.
But
And
that's when you ask somebody for their opinion, you don't get to say only if it's what I want to hear. When you
exactly.
ask for someone's opinion, you don't have a say in whether it's in line with what you think or not. So you set yourself up for that, and you have to know that if you're asking for someone's opinion, it's not always going to be in line with yours.
Most definitely. One of the comments, because obviously the comments from that were not against me, but, it
Hmm.
on the negative side versus positive side,
Yeah.
in that post, um, if they're from people that I know and on a deeper level than just social media, obviously I pay closer attention. I mean, I read every single comment,
Yes.
but pay closer attention. And this one chick, she's a single mom and in Dallas, and I mean, she's actually, when she's come up to take my class in Oklahoma, she stayed at my house. Like, I know her, I respect her, and I
Yeah.
respect her words and her opinions. And the fact is, I've never walked in the shoes of a single mom
Hmm.
that is truly trying to scrape together every penny so that they can, provide for their kid and whatnot.
Hmm.
But I also know that I know a lot of single moms, well, and I don't know too many single dads. I know a few single dads, but single parents, um,
Hmm.
that get to the point where they realize that they've they've made themselves low on the priority list, and if you don't take care of yourself before everyone else, how can you expect your family to run the way it's supposed to, whether it's just one kid or a bunch of kids,
Hmm.
and I've seen a lot of people that are still in a strapped scenario that need help getting their health back on track, figure it out. And I just shout out to the people that, because I've never been to the point where I've worried about being able to pay rent, but I've definitely, I mean, all throughout, you know, most of my 20s, while I was in med school and in residency, I was month to month. I mean, there wasn't a bunch of extra money hanging out, and I'm grateful because my parents did pay for my college. But after college, 21, my parents haven't helped me out financially at all.
Hmm.
But that being said, I know that if I needed them, I could, and that is something that a lot of people don't have, and
Hmm.
I respect the fact that there's many people's shoes that I've never walked in.
Yeah.
But that being said, I I yeah.
Again, your experiences are not theirs, and of course it's going to be different for everybody. Everybody looks at life, views life and experiences in a different way, but a lot of time, especially people that don't agree with what you're doing or don't support you, it's due to experiences or things that have happened to them that make them have such a strong opinion about that. And you can't reason with somebody who has had an emotional experience that is in relation to what you do or what you're talking about, and that's why you have to be able to remove yourself from the situation and put yourself in their shoes and think, okay, what is it that they have gone through or has happened or what they're doing that makes them feel this way about this situation? What have I gone through that makes me feel this way about this situation? And where's the middle point where it's going to be okay for both of us?
And that's a good point, because it makes me think, a lot of the comments that were left were emotionally driven comments too,
Mm-hmm.
which those are no better than, my emotional response to the email.
Yeah.
The fact is that even the people that left negative comments, and I mean, it's funny because, yeah, for people that are Facebook newbies, you don't get notified when people unfriend you. But if you have if you have a maximum, because I don't know why, but Facebook only lets you have 5,000 friends. And so
Yeah.
I have 5,000 friends, and I can always tell when someone has either unfriended me or gotten off of Facebook, because then I'll get friend requests again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before that post, I had 5,000 friends, and all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, I have 8 openings." So I had at least 8 people unfriend me, but, they got emotional and,
Yeah.
they got emotional and unfriended me, or got emotional and left a comment, whatever. But I'm hoping that those same people step back and realize that this person came to me
Mm-hmm.
basically saying, "Well, I don't value your time. I need you to value my state of being poor and financially not being able to afford you, but I want a handout,
Mm-hmm.
free time. I want you to give to me."
Right.
And that's not right. It's
Yeah.
not right, no matter what my response was. And could I have responded better? Yeah, I could have. Do I
Yeah.
regret it? No, because this is a learning experience, and that's what life is about. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
perfect. I'm trying to be a better person every day, and anyone that follows me knows that.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to even segue into the fact that you are not for everybody.
Oh,
You are not for everybody. There will be people that no matter how great you are, or how many accolades you have, or how many accomplishments you have, they'll still find a reason to not like you. And you have to be okay with the fact that you aren't for everybody and that your message isn't for everybody, especially when you are putting yourself out there as even an entrepreneur or just a person in general. If you put yourself out there and not everybody receives you well, that means you're doing something right because you have a specific message that's for a specific type of person. And if that person doesn't receive your message, then they're not your tribe. That's not the person that you need to connect with or help with, or not everybody is gonna, your vibe attracts your tribe, and not everybody is gonna be attracted to your vibes. And be okay with that and own that.
so true. And I've said that plenty of times, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my coaching style, my teaching style is definitely tough love. And that
Mm-hmm.
there was this one chick who, she I was telling you about her earlier. She's younger, and that doesn't mean anything, but I definitely think that, stereotypically speaking, the younger we are,
Mm.
the less,
You haven't experienced as much life.
yeah. So, emotionally, you're still growing. I mean,
Mm,
I'm still emotionally growing for sure, but
sure.
but she at some point in when I was coaching her, she made some comment, and I really thought she was kidding, and I came back with tough love, but it was almost in a joking way, and she didn't take it that way. And I mean, it like
Oh.
it made her cry. And
Oh.
no, and I don't want to make people cry, but the reality is, like, I don't even remember the exact details, but the reality
Yeah.
is something small like that, if I'm gonna make you cry, you're not meant for me. I mean, I crying is okay. It's not a bad thing, but like, I practice tough love, and
Mm,
if you're not ready for that, if that's not what motivates you, then
yeah.
I'm not I'm not the right coach for you, for sure.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But you know, you're and this is more of a message for me, just a reminder that, words are powerful.
Yeah.
And I never want my words to cause harm to someone by any means, no matter, even if it's Shonda.
Mhm.
To the first time listeners, Shonda is the name that I chose, but as the mean voice, that's the witch in your head that
Mhm.
talks it's always negative that talks bad about you to your brain.
Yeah.
That for whatever reason, some of us listen to more than others, and it may or may not be based on a real life Shonda, but I'll never say for sure.
Can neither confirm or deny that.
But even if it is a real life Shonda and she were in front of my face, I would never let words come out that are intended to hurt. That's just not.
Yeah. I think your intent is everything, but that's something that you have to be okay with. Not only that you're not a cup of tea for everybody, but not everybody understands your intention. Not everybody, your message just isn't for everybody, and you have to be okay with that. You really have to be okay. That's something that has been hard for me to figure out, because at first I would be like, what? Well, why don't you like me? Like, why am I not your cup of tea? Like, let me be your friend. I want to be your friend. Let me, like, it would be like almost like a challenge. Like, I'd be like, no, you're gonna like me. Like, I wanted to figure out a way for you to like me. But especially as an entrepreneur, you get told no so much by so many people, so many people. And at first that used to really, really bother me. I'd be like, well, I'm bad at this. I'm not a good coach. Like, this isn't the right fit for me. And it's just because those weren't the people that were ready for my help. And it took a while for me to understand that and be okay with that. But now it's so much more relieving. If somebody says no, I'm just like, okay, she doesn't need me to help her. I'm not the specific person to help her.
Right. For sure. So I don't know if titling this episode of this podcast with the word haters, I don't know if it's appropriate or not, because hate is gonna hate. Yeah, I like that. But at the end of the day, learning how to be the best you and learning to stand up for yourself, valuing your time, valuing what you have to offer this world, and not valuing other people's opinions that hinders you, because there's a ton of people that reading comments, and I would say probably 10% of the comments were negative, but even if one comment was negative, I know a lot of people that would have torn them up. And for me, I mean, trust me, I slept just fine that night.
Yeah.
But I've, like because I did I did a live broadcast after that saying, simmer down, people, simmer down. Quite ridiculous. But, I've got pretty tough skin because I was in OR for so long. As an anesthesiologist, I deal with surgeons who are just, not all of them are, but a lot of them are not the nicest people. And just, you have to have tough skin. And once I opened up my YouTube channel, you definitely, anyone that wants to open up a YouTube channel, if you don't have thick skin, don't do it. I don't know why so much more are on YouTube than Facebook and Instagram, but man, there's a lot of mean people that,
they can hide behind a screen and say whatever they want, but that's one thing, is you have control over your intent and what your message is. You will never, no matter how much you fight it, you'll never have control over what people do or their reactions. You don't, and you have to accept that. Because for me, I would so badly just want to change their mind. Like just let me change your mind. Let me tell you why I'm right, which is just the biggest waste of time, because you have no control over other people's opinions. You don't.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. There was a time where I had that same thought. Like I wanted everyone to like me. And I think I think that's probably human nature.
Yeah.
But then the part of growing up and realizing that, people's opinions really don't matter. And especially people that don't know you. I mean, well, my mom's opinion, my dad's opinion, my loved one's opinion, obviously they matter. And I put into, thought.
Yes.
For back in my early 20s when I and that goes with immaturity of the age. My parents would give me their opinions and I wouldn't consider it. Now, if they give me their opinions, I really think twice about it.
Yeah.
3 times about it. And, maybe they're right versus.
Yeah. Not being inconsiderate. Don't, be ignorant to whatever anybody tells you, but just take take it for food for thought. And at the end of the day, you have to find a place where you're okay with your intentions and what you are doing, what your message is, what you're putting out there. As long as you're okay with that, and that's, you feel like that is, you are representing your best self and doing everything that you can to be your best self in spite of good or bad feedback, then that's okay.
Exactly. So yeah, this is more of a life lesson episode of the Fitz and Healthy podcast. And we try and hit all topics. And sometimes people ask me, like, how do you know what to talk about on live broadcasts? It's like, it's life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, when something happens, I go and I did a live broadcast. It was funny because my dad's on, both my parents are on Facebook now. My mom only does it so she can be in my challenge groups, but my dad is on Facebook, and he he's so funny, but he's told me he doesn't watch my live broadcast. He's like, I don't have time for that. And all the time anyway. And I was doing a live broadcast on the Club Fitz Fitness channel, and talking about when people walk out on you, meaning in class, because a lot of people that follow me on the Club Fitz Fitness page are fitness instructors. And we've all had it happen where someone walks out in the middle of class because they're just not feeling you. And this kind of ties in with the same thing that, you got to stop caring about what other people think. Right.
Yeah.
And, so at the end of the day, I talk about life. I talk about, things that I'm passionate about. Obviously, I'm passionate about getting the word out about really important topics like nutrition, like food, exercise, but, learning to be your best self has more to, there's more than just, good nutrition and exercise.
Yeah.
Becoming mentally and emotionally a better person every day, takes work. And if we don't work on it, then we're going to end up just like the people that we were raised to be around. And sometimes that's what we want.
Yeah. So if you had to give somebody advice that doesn't have as thick of skin as they want to be, or they want to be more bold and brave, what would your advice be to them to start being able to be stronger with who they are, being okay with who they are, and not letting other people hinder that?
Man, I think personal development is where it's at.
I knew you would say that, so that's why I asked.
Then you, no, it's true. I mean, we, in our realm of coaching, personal development is huge. But any entrepreneur, it's not just
a person in general.
And it's funny because I started really doing personal development, I don't know, maybe two or 3 years, not knowing that it was called personal development, but just listening to podcasts, because podcasts are a great free way to learn, right? And I mean, right here, Fitz and Healthy, you're going to learn a ton of stuff from us, and then we're going to learn together. But then, I started getting into, I'm not much like I just don't like to sit still and read. So I like to listen to audiobooks. And but successful people are constantly on the path to learning how to be better versions of themselves. And I think that it's just something that isn't really talked about. Like, I think that there's a kind of a connotation of, oh, self-help. You're in the self-help department of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why is that bad?
Yeah.
I want to figure out why I suck at relationships. So I am in the self-help about relationships, or I suck at losing weight and keeping it off. So I am in the self-help of how to not sabotage myself. I mean, so many different ways that you can, because if you don't, you're going to keep repeating the same crap and be stuck in the same place in life.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's good for anybody in whatever season of life you're in, or what you're doing, whether you're a mom or whether you're a college student, or what. And personal development just helps you to, I know this is so cliche and everybody says it, but become your best self. And it's not just for you, but for all of the people around you too. Like, for me, I'm about to get married, and I think it's really important to me that I am the best person that I can be for my fiance, because he's committing to being with me for life, and he kind of deserves to have somebody that he can stand, right? But personal development, I think, is a huge thing that allows me to be the best self that I can be as a wife, as a leader, as a coach, as a podcaster, as a friend, just as a person. I know that my overall experience of life in general, in every situation, has been so much better the more that I learn to be the best person that I can be.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that I have you as my co-host, because I wish that when I was in my early 20s, I would have had just one person even open my mind to the whole personal development thing.
Mm,
I mean, one of the very first books that I give my coaches to read is The Slight Edge. And the first time that you read it or listen to it, it's almost like duh, this is common sense, yet it's not. It's not
mm,
it like I wish that I would have had someone in my life at 20 years old be like, "Lauren, you need to read this."
mm-hmm,
And that once you start opening your mind to these kind of things, it's contagious.
mm-hmm.
And like my stepdaughter, who now she's my ex-stepdaughter, but I hate saying that, but Hannah,
Yeah,
anyone that will listen to this or has followed me knows who Hannah is. She's
yeah.
20. She's at Arizona State, and still a very important part of my life. And you know, I've told her so many times, and she still hasn't caught on to the whole podcast thing. But I'm like, I mean, it's. She's like, I'm not going to spend money on books. Okay, well then podcasts are free, and there's so
Yeah.
many podcasts. But
Mm-hmm.
just to start listening, that I mean, you're ahead of the game. But that's one of the many reasons that I chose you as my co-host, was because I really want millennials to start thinking about how to make themselves better instead of waiting till your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. I mean,
I don't want to wait until I have a lot of bad experiences happen all at once for me to be like, oh, okay, I need to like get my shiz together and change what I'm doing. I mean, I'm sure bad experiences are inevitable, they will happen. That's just life. But I just feel like if I basically arm myself with ways to deal with it, then it's better for me and better for everybody else around me. And your girl could use a lot of personal development. There's never a day that I don't go by that I'm like, oh, I don't need any personal development. No, like I need it daily.
yeah, and I think we all do. And I that's anytime that a person becomes a coach on my team,
Mm,
one of the very first things that I tell them is personal development has to be critical every day in your life. And
mhm,
one of my she's actually not just a coach, but she's a close friend of mine on my team. And she man, she went through some really, it was like trauma after trauma after trauma in the last year. And she told me, she was like, and uh, she, she's actually a professional. She's also an anesthesiologist, and personal development was something new to her. And if it weren't for her becoming a coach and getting into personal development, she told me, she's like, I don't know how I would have handled this past year.
mhm,
It was just, it,
mm.
it strengthens you and makes you a better person. And that's
Yeah.
why opening conversations like this one up, where I want to get people's 2 cents, because they're out of the 110 comments, there are people from all walks of life. And I can either get my feelings hurt, get defensive, or I can learn from the comments that were not in the most positive life or
Mhm.
light, and
Yeah.
ultimately learn from those so that I can be a better version of me, because that's really what I want. I
Yeah.
want to be better. And as I progress in life, there will be more people that will be verbal, that will try and hold me back. And the stronger that I am mentally, the less likely that those people will be able to affect me at all.
Mm.
And that's just good advice for anyone.
Yeah. The more that you empower yourself, I mean, it circles back to why we're even talking about this is the more that you empower yourself, the more that you'll be able to deal with situations that are inevitable in the best way possible for the best outcome for not just you, for everybody else too.
Yes, most definitely. So be open-minded, be loving in your words, and just know that words can be way more detrimental than any physical abuse. And they can last for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So
You have no control over others' opinions of you, but you do have control over your own. So make sure that you stay your ground. If you feel strongly about something, it's okay to have a different view than someone else.
we were all over the place because there's so many lessons in this. It's not
Yeah.
just not about haters. It's, I mean, it's loving yourself,
Mm.
valuing yourself, valuing your time, valuing
Mhm.
other people's. There's a ton of lessons to be learned in
It's
this.
all encompassing.
So we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. And those of you that have taken time to leave a review, we greatly appreciate you. And I think that this message from Cinthanie is so appropriate after this particular episode. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, also, I wanted to just real quick say thank you to every episode that you have downloaded. Thank you to subscribing on every platform that we're on. I mean, it's very, very humbling, and we do appreciate our lifers. I know we talked a lot about haters today, but we do appreciate you guys. But my message for you is that you are a good person who deserves good things to happen to you.
Amen. All right. We hope you guys have a day that is more Fitz and healthy. Till next time. Ciao. Make sure that you find us on social media. You can find Cinthanie on Instagram and Facebook at Cinthanie. So that's CINTHANIE, and on Snapchat at Cinthanie P. And find me on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Club Fitz Fitness. Remember, that's FITZ Fitness. And on Snapchat, just at Club Fitz. I appreciate your time listening so much. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fitz and Healthy podcast, can you please go do me a favor and go subscribe at whatever platform that it is that you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. We read every single review, and we appreciate the time that you take to leave your thoughts and opinions. Now, also remember, while I am a medical doctor, the information I provide here is not intended to provide medical advice or a professional diagnosis, opinion, treatment, or services to you or to any other individual. I am providing general information for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical or professional care. You should not use this information in place of a visit, call, consultation, or the advice of your physician or other healthcare provider. The information I share is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any disease or medical condition. If you believe you have a medical emergency, just call 911 immediately or your physician. Now, enough of that medical legal jargon. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate your time. Now, go live a Fitz and healthy life.